What's going on, motivators? We got another video. We got to talk about a story that is being hidden in the mainstream media of all those pedophiles that just got arrested in San Diego. Let's get into this.
CBP and ICE say these cruise ship worker arrests late last month were part of something called Operation Tidal Wave, targeting people they say are suspected of viewing, sharing, or distributing child pornography.
Why?
This was the video that sparked questions as to why Customs and Border Protection boarded and detained workers on board a Disney cruise ship docked in San Diego in late April.
I don't know.
CBP and ICE are now responding, calling it Operation Tidal Wave, an ongoing multi-agency child pornography enforcement operation based on information received from the National Center for Missing and Exploited Children. CBP says 27 people from 8 cruise ships were detained over the course of 5 days, all suspected of being involved with possession, distribution, or viewing child pornography. The workers, mostly from the Philippines, one from Portugal and another from Indonesia. CBP said
There's a people who are tied to Disney workers. Like, who are Disney hiring? Those people don't care. We see the propaganda they try to put on to the kids, or they try to help in the United States. They advance those things. Why would they not hire people who do those things too? This is insane to me. What is going on in the country? We have people from other countries who are members of cruises, pedophile backgrounds. Who's doing the background checks? How the FBI know those things but nobody else knows? I would think if you're working in such an extent with as far as being with kids, they got to be an extensive background check on you. Like, why not pay for the FBI to find those information out? You're working around kids every day. We can't have pedophiles working around kids, especially on Disney cruises.
2 more Carnival crew members were arrested for possession of child pornography, this time in the port of New Orleans. Abdul Sheikh was on the Valor. Reza Pratamana was on the Liberty, and waiting for them when they got off the ship was Homeland Security investigators who demanded to see their cell phones. When they surrendered their cell phones, they found dozens of horrendous photographs and videos of children engaged in inappropriate activities. Now, both of these crew members happened to have been fired by Carnival and were disembarking the ships when the Homeland Security was waiting for them. They were fired apparently for allegations of sexual harassment on the ships made by other crew members. Now, I've reported on over a dozen arrests here in the port of Miami of different crew members from different cruise lines who've been arrested recently for exactly the same thing. What I suspect is there's some kind of group chat that's being circulated amongst men working on these cruise ships. I don't know if it's like WhatsApp or something like that, where they're exchanging these videos and photographs. What I don't understand is why aren't they exchanging the information that other members of these group chats have been arrested and are now in jail in the U.S. for these crimes? I also suspect that maybe, and I'm not defending these guys and never would, in whatever countries they're coming from, one of these guys was Indonesian, the other guy was Indian, that maybe what they're doing is not viewed as a criminal activity as it is here in the U.S., where the possession and distribution of this stuff is not tolerated. Well, Carnival had already fired these guys, so there's not much more they can do with these 2, but they should be stepping it up to, first of all, educate their crew members that this stuff is wrong to have. And number 2 is to periodically inspect their phones. There is no expectation of privacy in my mind when you're working on these cruise ships. Let me see your phone, Reza, and let me see what you've got on it, because if I find something that's inappropriate, I will throw you off the ship at the next port. Let me know what you all think. For more information, I'm the cruise ship lawyer. Please hit the plus button and follow.
I mean, this was 2024. And this just happened on May 8th. So at the end of it, it's like the information is not being passed. And even though you deem it good in your country, you're in a new country. You gotta go by the country's laws. I mean, that's sick. Even though it's in the country where they're coming from with kids, that is sick, right? Kids. But I know some country have some crazy rules. I digress. But still, the country that you're in, you have to abide by that country's rules and regulations, the law of the land. You can't be like, well, my country, like, you'll not be holding to your country when you go to someone else's country. If you break the law or the rules, you should get penalized for it in there. But I do agree with this gentleman. They got to do a better check. If you're working around kids, there got to be something to ensure that you will actually say who you are and you're living up to that code of conduct. Because if you're passing that stuff periodically and it's always a ship member, there is something in there. It got to be spread. And the people in there are people from overseas. There is something going on. It could be a WhatsApp for real, but something is definitely being passed amongst the crew. Moving in here, we also have Disney saying, we have a zero tolerance policy for this type of behavior and fully cooperated with the law enforcement, a Disney spokesperson said on Thursday. While the majority of these individuals were not from our cruise line, those who were are no longer with this company. Again, Carnival, Disney, all those places, if they having such things, they have to do a better job at protecting people. You got kids on there, family members, and those people, they're only going there to get their fix. And who knows what else is being done to those kids because of those exploitations being made on those different cruises.
Disney Dream was arrested for possession of child pornography after authorities received 9 separate tips from the National Center for Missing and Exploited Children. A 28-year-old Filipino crew member had his phone seized when the ship arrived at the port, and authorities found multiple photographs of children engaged in sexual acts, some of which were under 10 years of age. He apparently was sharing these photos with a group of other such individuals on a Facebook group. The individual's name is Emil Joseph Trazo. He is now held in custody in Florida and is also going to be facing some immigration charges as well. Disney immediately terminated him. This is the second time this year that I've reported a similar situation on board a Disney cruise ship. I think that it's important to know that authorities can randomly search your phone when entering the U.S. port. This goes for both crew members and passengers. And they have ensnared individuals who have child pornography on their cell phone devices when they arrive back from a cruise. Unfortunately, they weren't able to get a hold of this guy before he went on a Disney cruise as a crew member. And I don't know why it took 9 individual reports before authorities acted on this, but at least he's in custody now. Let me know what you all think. And for more information from...
I don't know. My thing is they got to do a better job. We got to do a better job. It's all foreigners, it seems. There are a lot of people in the States who are, but it seems on the Disney cruise, it's all foreigners.
Asia. CBP says it canceled the workers' visas and returned them to their home countries.
I think there was something very unique.
Workers, mostly from suspected of being involved with possession, distribution, or viewing child pornography. The workers, mostly from the Philippines, one from Portugal and another from Indonesia. CBP says it canceled the workers' visas and returned them to their home countries.
I think there was something very unique here that it was CBP and ICE, and they immediately sent all those crew members back to their home countries.
Maritime attorney Michael Winkleman says these types of cases are usually handled by the FBI.
They could have been charged in U.S. courts and be in federal prison right now, awaiting charges, awaiting trial, etc. But the fact that they were sent home to their home countries, that's actually quite unique.
Both ICE and CBP declined on-camera interviews and didn't clarify if the individuals were charged for the crimes they're accused of before being sent home. The groups that first raised questions about these detentions say they now wonder if these workers had any due process.
All people arrested should be afforded, number one, the opportunity for...
What is going on with those people? I understand, but it seems like they're worried more about these people than the kids that they're actually abusing. These are pedophiles. What if they did charge them and the court just said to send them back to their countries? Would they still fight want to be inside the United States? I'm telling you, some of those people, what they're fighting for is the wrong cause.
Due process rights and access to the consular officials, and we question whether this was even provided.
In a statement, Disney told us they have a zero-tolerance policy for this type of behavior and fully cooperated with law enforcement and said the workers from their cruise line are no longer with the company. Holland America didn't respond to our request Thursday. Laura Acevedo, ABC 10 News.
There are 2 points of interest here. Operation TADWAP, which took place from April 23rd to 27, and the disembarkation site, which according to the media outlet, El Impartial, the Port of San Diego is a key location for this activity, as it is home to international cruise ships with foreign crews and is subject to mandatory immigration checks. The investigation into the operation at the B Street Marine Terminal in San Diego included a search of crew members' electronic devices. Specifically, a Disney Cruise Line spokeswoman stated that there is a zero-tolerance policy towards such allegations and that those arrested are no longer part of the Walt Disney Company. But what is known so far about the detainees? The crew members are not of American origin, which is why their visas have been revoked and immediate action and immigration proceedings have begun for their deportations. 26 of them are from the Philippines, 1 from Portugal, and 1 from Indonesia. However, the origin of the crew member who was dismissed after the inspection has not yet been reported. The identities of the other 7 cruise ships have not yet been released by Customs and Border Protection.
Is to take them all, send them home. For the ones who want due process, bring it to a judge, deport them. Plain and simple. But again, we can't have this. We have our own problem in the United States as far as people here pedophiles. You can't bring in more pedophiles. There is issues already in the United States. Why are you going to take the world's issue to add it on? Disney needs to do a better job. If on the cruise, Customs and Border Patrol could go in and just verify phones, Disney should have someone who's doing the same thing and explain those rules and regulation and how it affects people in the United States. So if anybody's ever thinking about it, guess what? It's being nipped in the butt before it even starts. But anyway, let me know what you think within the comments. All right, motivators, if you enjoy what you've seen and heard, please like, comment, share, but most importantly, subscribe to A Black Veteran's Perspective. Stay motivated.